or answered questions which were either asked on the spot or submitted to her beforehand in writing. On October 19th, 1955, she started. She began the reading of part 1 of Sri Aurobindo's Synthesis of Yoga. The reading ended on November 14th, 1956, almost 1 year, yeah, more than 1 year. With the
Can you hold the book in front of the camera once for, just where you are? Yeah. More closer? Closer, closer. It's blurry. The image is blurry.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I will
The
close.
synthesis of yoga and
Yeah,
talks by the mother, huh?
talks by the mother. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Because one beautiful thing was there. You started recording, huh? Okay.
Yes.
I will. Yeah, I will read out actually.
Yeah.
Sweet mother, Sri Aurobindo has said that one must find a light within, then surrender to the divine Shakti. Now that the supermind has come down, will this be easier? Well, that is the light within. Now, this is mother's answer. What is the difficulty? Where do you see any objection or contradiction? What is your difficulty? Mother asked. Then how another child asked the question, how can we understand that it has become easier? What is the effect of this descent? Well, mother's answer, wait until it occurs in you and you will know it. All right. Imagine that in a dark room you have put an oil lamp, one which burns oil, as we used to have 50 years ago. We had oil lamps in the rooms, as now there are lanterns. They were a little better, but it was the same thing. So you were lighting your room with that, and then suddenly somebody invented the means of lighting it by electricity. So your oil lamp is replaced by a beautiful electric lamp, which gives 10 times more light. What is your difficulty, your problem? You have always had a light to illumine your room, your inner room. But instead of an oil lamp, it has become an electric lamp now. That's all. You don't understand? No, it is not very difficult to understand. One wants to see that light. The child asks, a child or teacher, someone asks her to see. Enter the room, you will see it. So now it is become easy. She's telling this electric lamp. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And another child asks how to enter the room. You take a key and open the door. You must find the key. Or you sit down in front of the door until you have found the word. I think these things are there in some other books also. The idea or the force which opens it, as in the Arabian Nights tales. It is not a joke, it is very serious. You must sit down in front of the door and then concentrate until you have found the key or the word or the power to open it. If one does not try, it does not open by itself. Perhaps after thousands of years, but you want to do it immediately. So, to do it immediately, you must sit down obstinately before the door until you have found that means. It may be a key, it may be a word, it may be a force, it may be anything at all. And you remain there before the door until it opens. And you do not think of anything else, only the door. Next question is very interesting. Is there no keyhole through which the light can escape? All are finding the easy ways, no? A keyhole. What do you mean? A chink through which the light can escape? Perhaps it is escaping, but perhaps no one sees it either. It is escaping. But then that is another problem. You must open your eyes. You must learn to open your eyes to look. Very small babies do not see, even very small animals do not see, tiny baby kittens do not see. It takes them several hours or several days, they don't see. You must learn to see.
Beautiful.
Yeah, both these things I find very interesting that instead of oil lamp, it is electricity, and also through keyholes, it is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Because of these sessions, I'm taking all the books now
That's
from
no
that
nice.
library.
You're also getting a chance to hear them.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's a very old book, it is actually.
Mm,
I don't know whether the edition is now it is there or I don't know.
mm.
All synthesis because I started reading Synthesis of Yoga recently only. Something I found, I mean, it's not clear for me actually.
Mm, mm.
So suddenly I found this book. There are some
Beautiful.
answers. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's also nice the mother, when mother reflects over whatever
Yeah,
Sri Aurobindo has said, it
yeah,
becomes clearer and easy to
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Yes. Saru, you have something to share? Yeah, do you want to share now? Okay, okay. So I was reading something also, and I think I'll just share the shot for it so that it is easier for all of us to see. Let me share the screen. Yeah, so here someone is asking mother how to change one's consciousness. And there is this something really very beautiful. I'm sure most of us will able to connect with it. Mother shares these experiences come to you suddenly in a flash. For a second, a moment uh, in your life, you don't know why or how. There are other ways, other experiences also which are innumerable. But mother is sharing that one, if one is ready, one gets a glimpse of this changed consciousness. And I'm sure we have been sharing, in past many sessions, some or the other instance in life shows us clearly what has to be the path, and then one has to, mother says that one has to relive it again and again. So mother shares here where one catches the tail of the thing. So you get a glimpse, one catches the tail of the thing, and one must remember, try to relive it, go to the depths of the experience, recall it, aspire, and concentrate. And this is the starting point. And this is as if somebody is giving you a guiding thread. One has to follow it. For all those who are destined to find their inner being, the truth of their being, there is always at least one moment in life when they were no longer the same, perhaps just like a lightning flash. So mother says that moment can be really very little moment, but the impact it would have on your life is a really deep impact. One can relive it again and again. And mother shares, but that is enough. And it indicates the road one should take. It is the door that opens on this path. So you must go through the door and with perseverance and unfailing steadfastness seek to renew the state which will lead you to something more real and more total. So, you know, I'm sure we all get glimpses, and it takes a long time for us to actually follow that glimpse, because so many doubts are there, so many confusions are there, whether that was true or not true, whether what society tells me that is true. But once that glimpse has been given, I think one gets a certitude that yes, this is the path I need to take, this is the clarity I need to follow. So that was really something very interesting. And then further, let me share. Yeah. Many ways have been given, but a way you have been taught, a way you have read about in books or heard from a teacher does not have that effective value of that spontaneous experience. So that practical experience that one gets, that's our truth. And it's not something that we have read and we have been following, or, just mugging it up as a theory or philosophy. And which is simply the blossoming of soul's awakening, 1 second of contact with your psychic being, which shows you the best way for you, the one most within your reach, which you will then have to follow with perseverance to reach the goal. So this is, the beginning of that following of our inner truth. All of us, uh, whoever has the glimpse, one can connect with it. That yes, I know with certitude that this is the path. Yeah. Some have this in dreams at night. Some have it at any odd time. Something one sees which awakens in one this new consciousness. Something one hears, it may be just a word. You know, uh, I think we have read stories of mystics and maybe Vedantic teachers who just heard a word and they knew that this is my, this is what I have to follow. I think with Ramana Maharishi this happened. He heard some name and then he knew that it was his guru or whatever. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, the Arunachala.
Yeah, yeah. Something clicked in his being. Yes. So, a beautiful landscape, beautiful music, or else simply a few words one reads, or else the intensity of concentration in some effort. Anything can become a meme. There are thousand reasons and thousand ways of having it. But I repeat, all those who are destined to realize have had this at least once in their life. It may be very fleeting. It may have come when they were very young. We have really deep impressions of something in the childhood that touched us very deeply, but we don't know any reason, why it touched us or what was there. But always, at least once in one's life, at least that is only once, at least once in one's life, one has the experience of what true consciousness is. Well, that is the best indication of the path to be followed. So this was really, brought a lot of, one says, a kind of again a certitude and faith that whatever is happening is okay. And then towards the end of this paragraph, Mother shares that first of all, you must feel the necessity for this change of consciousness. That yes, there is something needed, some new transformation of change of consciousness is needed. And once you admit the principle, then you must be watchful, and you will find you do find it. Once you have found it, you must start walking without hesitation.
another question actually.
Yeah.
How can one feel sweetness and joy when one is in difficulty? Mother's answer exactly. When the difficulty is egoistic or personal, if one makes an offering of it and throws it into the fire of purification, one immediately feels the joy of progress. If one does it sincerely, at once there is a welling up of joy. That is obviously what ought to be done instead of despairing and lamenting. If one offers it up and aspires sincerely for transformation and purification, one immediately feels joy springing up in the depths of the heart. Even when the difficulty is a great sorrow, one may do this with much success.
Mm.
One realizes that behind the sorrow, no matter how intense it may be, there is a divine joy.
Beautiful.
This is what you told, no, that meet that difficulty and meet
Yeah.
that once if you meet only you can offer it to divine, no?
This also reminds me of that
Mm.
image that we use very
Mm.
often, that behind the dark cloud there is always the blue sky ever present. So that joy, the divine joy, is ever present. And once you go closer, closer, and go past it, then the joy is anyway there.
Right. That seeing through keyholes, no? Will you please explain it further, Monica? That
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. So what I understood from that is that, you know, who is it that sees through you? You are there, your body is there. I can see your body. But what is this light that can see through your body? You are looking at me.
Mm.
Okay. Now there is nothing in this body. We know that the moment the person dies,
Mm.
body cannot see, the body cannot touch and perceive and sense and all that. So what is this light of consciousness that is shining through each one of us and is making us able to listen, to hear, to speak? And it
Yeah.
is so common that that we miss it. It is very,
Mm.
it is so common, we take it for granted.
Mm.
And so when you were talking about this, the light is always shining through the keyholes. Isn't it this light that is always shining and we always, absolutely miss it?
Mm.
And if we pause for a moment, we can actually see the divine in the other person, but we rarely do that. We don't
Yeah.
pause.
Okay, okay, yeah, it's clear now. Yes.
So this is the light of consciousness which is ever present and which is shining through each one of us.
Yeah. Through talking, through hearing, through seeing,
Yes,
everything is keyhole. Yeah.
yes, yes. So
Correct.
that's what I understood when you were
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, yeah, it's clear now. Yes, correct.
And that's why mother is sharing that open your eyes to it.
Yeah.
So our everything is happening. You are talking, I am talking, but we are not. Our eyes are as if we are
Yeah,
lost in some other world. We are not
yeah,
here.
correct.
Yeah. So Ravikant ji wanted to share something in Hindi, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
हाँ हाँ रविकांत जी आप अभी शेयर करेंगे. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. म्यूटेड. यू आर म्यूटेड.
हाँ, मेरे को पढ़ने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं पढ़ के सुनाना चाहता हूँ कुछ.
जी सुनाइए.
मेरे को एक ये मदर की जो पुस्तक है, पहले की बातें, वर्ड्स ऑफ लॉन्ग एगो,
जी
ये
जी
किताब मेरे को बहुत अच्छी लगती है. और इसमें एक आर्टिकल है चैरिटी, हिंदी में उसका नाम है उदारता. मेरी आवाज आ रही है ना?
जी आ रही है.
इसको मैं कई लोगों को इसको फोटोस्टेट करके भी बांट चुका हूँ, बीसीओ कॉपी. और मेरे को इसको पढ़ने में और बताने में बहुत अच्छा अनुभव होता है. बहुत अच्छा फील करता हूँ मैं. उदारता के बारे में मदर लिखती हैं कि अपने सबसे अधिक व्यापक अर्थों में कहा जा सकता है कि उदारता का अर्थ है हर एक को वह चीज़ देना जो उसके पास नहीं है या जिसकी उसके पास कमी है। अर्थात अंतिम विश्लेषण में कह सकते हैं कि हर चीज को उसके अपने स्थान पर रखना, जिसका परिणाम होगा धरती पर परम न्याय की स्थापना। यह तो हुई सिद्धांत की बात। इसके बाद माता जी कहती है कि व्यवहार में हम ये कह सकते हैं कि उदारता वह मार्ग है जिसका हर एक को न्याय की ओर टटोलते हुए बढ़ने में अनुसरण करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अपनी वर्तमान अवस्था में मनुष्य अपने पार्थिव आवास में न्याय को प्राप्त करने में असमर्थ है। इतना ही नहीं, न्याय का अपने परम धाम में जो रूप है उसकी कल्पना करने में भी असमर्थ है। उदारता इस असमर्थता की जीती जागती स्वीकृति है। ये मैं थोड़ा सा डिस्कस करना चाहूंगा। मोनिका जी, मैं कई बार पढ़ चुका हूँ, मैं इसमें इस सेंटेंस में कंफ्यूज होता हूँ कि ये किस न्याय की क्या बात कर रही है। जो मैं सीखा हूँ, जो मैं समझा हूँ, मैं पहले बताऊंगा, उसके बाद आप मुझे करेक्ट कर दीजिएगा। सच्चा न्याय पूर्ण समस्वरता, पूर्ण संतुलन और पूर्ण व्यवसाय के साथ होता है। इसे न जानने की अवस्था में हमारे लिए सबसे अच्छा मार्ग यही है कि हम प्रेम पथ को, उदारता के पथ को अपनाएं। वह सब प्रकार के मूल्यांकन को दूर करता है। यह बात उन लोगों की मनोवृत्ति को न्याय संगत ठहराती है जो हमेशा उदारता को न्याय के विरुद्ध रखते हैं। उनकी दृष्टि में न्याय हमेशा कठोर और निर्दय होता है और उदारता को उसकी अत्यधिक कठोरता को हल्का करने के लिए आना चाहिए। निश्चय ही यह बात भागवत न्याय के बारे में भी कही जा सकती है, लेकिन यह मानव या यूं कहें सामाजिक न्याय के बारे में ठीक है, जो एक अहंकारपूर्ण न्याय है जिसे हितों के न्यून्याधिक विस्तृत समूहों की रक्षा करने के लिए स्थापित किया गया है। वह सच्चे न्याय के उतना ही विपरीत है जितनी छाया प्रकाश के। जब हम मेरे को आप बता दीजिएगा कहाँ रुकना है, मैं रुक जाऊंगा क्योंकि टॉपिक लंबा है।
नहीं, आपको जहां ठीक लगे, क्योंकि आपको पता है आप क्या पढ़ रहे हैं, आपको जितना लगे इम्पोर्टेंट है अभी के लिए उतना आप पढ़ दीजिए।
ठीक है।
हाँ।
तो मैंने जो अंडरलाइन कर रखा है वही मैं पढ़ के सुनाता हूँ। उदार के भी 4 विभिन्न रूप होते हैं। उसकी क्रिया के सचमुच प्रभावशाली और समग्र होने के लिए जरूरी है कि एक साथ सभी रूपों में उसका प्रयोग हो। कहने का आशय यह है कि कोई उदारता तब तक पूर्ण नहीं हो सकती जब तक कि वह साथ ही साथ भौतिक, बौद्धिक, आध्यात्मिक या नैतिक और सबसे बढ़कर प्रेममयी ना हो, क्योंकि प्रेम ही उदारता का मुख्य है सार तत्व। आजकल उदारता को बिल्कुल बाह्य दृष्टि से देखा जाता है और इस शब्द का अर्थ हो गया है जीवन के अभावों के साथ अपनी संपत्ति का बंटवारा। हम क्षण भर में देख लेंगे कि अगर हम इस धारणा को केवल भौतिक क्षेत्र की सीमित रखा जाए तो यह कितनी तुच्छ है। उदारता की क्रिया के बाकी 3 रूपों का सार बुद्ध ने अपने शिष्यों को सलाह देते हुए एक सराहनीय रूप में बतलाया था। इसको माने विशेष रूप से साइन ऑफ उसमें कर दिया है, इन्वर्टेड कॉमा में कर दिया है। करुणा के उभरते हृदयों के साथ दुख दर्द से पीड़ित जगत में जाओ, वहां शिक्षक बनो। जहां कहीं अज्ञान के अंधकार का राज हो वहां दीप जलाओ। इज इट क्लियर? मैं दोबारा पढ़ के सुनाता हूँ। करुणा के उमड़ते हृदयों के साथ दुख दर्द से पीड़ित जगत में जाओ, वहां शिक्षक बनो। जहाँ कहीं अज्ञान के अंधकार का राज हो वहां दीप जलाओ।
जी।
जो कम जानते हैं उन्हें शिक्षा देना, जो बुराई करते हैं उन्हें ऐसी शक्ति देना कि वे अपनी भ्रांति में से निकल सकें, जो दुखी हैं उन्हें सांत्वना देना, ये सब सही अर्थों में समझी गई उदारता के कार्य हैं। इस भांति व्यक्तिगत दृष्टि से हर एक के लिए अपने साधनों के अनुपात में दूसरों को वह चीज देना ही उदारता है जिसकी उन्हें जरूरत है। इससे हम 2 बातों पर आते हैं। पहली बात तो ये कि हम वह चीज नहीं दे सकते जो हमारे अधिकार में नहीं है। भौतिक दृष्टि से यह बात इतनी स्पष्ट है कि इस पर जोर देने की जरूरत नहीं है, किंतु बौद्धिक तथा आध्यात्मिक दृष्टि से भी यही नियम खरा उतरता है। एक चीज इसमें सबसे बड़ी अच्छी गई है माँ ने, जो पूरी दुनिया कहती है और माँ उससे एग्री नहीं करती हैं, कि हम लोगों ने बहुत बचपन से एक कहावत सुनी है, चैरिटी बिगन्स फ्रॉम होम। मदर ने इस बारे में ये लिखा है। इस तथ्य से हमें यह पुरानी कहावत न्याय संगत मालूम होती है कि उदारता घर से ही शुरू होती है। यह कहावत हर प्रकार के अहंकार का पोषण करती प्रतीत होती है। मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है और मुझे इस तरह की बातें वैसे भी बड़ी अच्छी लगती हैं, परंतु जो इसे भली भांति समझ सकता है उसके लिए एक बहुत बड़ी बुद्धिमत्ता की अभिव्यक्ति है। मतलब मदर ने साफ स्पष्ट कहा है कि वो कहती हैं इस कहावत को समझने का एक और तरीका भी है जो कहता है पहले हम अपने लिए संपदा, बुद्धि, स्वास्थ्य, प्रेम सब प्रकार की ऊर्जा इकट्ठी कर लें तब हम उसे बांटेंगे। मगर मदर कहती है लेकिन भौतिक दृष्टिकोण से संग्रह करना कब बंद होगा? जिसे ढेर इकट्ठा करने की आदत हो जाए उसे अपना ढेर कभी पर्याप्त बड़ा नहीं लग सकता। ये चीज मतलब एक पूरे विश्व में एक कहावत है, मदर ने इसको बिल्कुल ही एक तरीके से कहा जाए तो इग्नोर किया है। मतलब जैसे हम कहते हैं कि जैसे मेरे और मेरे भाई में एक डिस्प्यूट है, वो कहते हैं हम अपने रिश्तेदारों की पहले सहायता करें। मैं कहता हूँ नहीं, जैसे अभी मैं आपको फोटो भेजता हूँ, मैं कैमरा उल्टा करता हूँ, अभी भी मैं गरीब बच्चों के साथ, सॉरी गरीब नहीं, मैं अभी ग्रामीण बच्चों के साथ बैठा हुआ क्लास ले रहा हूँ। एक सेकंड, मैं शायद कैमरे में पता नहीं आएगा नहीं आएगा, आप देखिए ये सब फोटो हैं, आपने देखी होंगी। अभी 20 बच्चे आएंगे, अभी थोड़े आए, अभी 3 बजे आते हैं मगर लेट हो गए यार थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि कल
जी
मकर
जी
संक्रांति थी ना, उसका नशा नहीं उतरा बच्चों को अभी। तो मैं इसका आर्टिकल लंबा है और अगर आप कहेंगी तो मैं नेक्स्ट वीक में इसको और पढ़ के सुनाऊंगा। और इसकी मैंने 20-20 कापी अभी 1-2 महीने पहले फोटो स्टेट कराई थी और अभी रखी भी है। मैं, मेरे को ये एक पागलपन है, मैं इस तरह की चीज़ शेयर करता हूँ क्योंकि मेरी अपनी ये सोच है। इस फ्राइडे स्टडी सर्किल में भी मैं ये शेयर करना चाहूँगा कि एटलीस्ट जो चीज़ हमको मालूम है या जो चीज़ हमारे पास है, स्पेशली ज्ञान, ज्ञान हालांकि मेरे को ज्ञान नहीं है, आपको हो सकता है, मेरे को नहीं है, और ये कहना कि मैं ज्ञानी हूँ ये सबसे बड़ा अहंकार है। कि मगर हमें जितना भी मालूम है, जितनी भी लोग अज्ञान और अंधकार में रह रहे हैं, हमें उनको बाहर निकालने की भरसक कोशिश करना चाहिए। आज हम इतना ही कहेंगे, बाकी आप सब लोग शेयर करें और इसके अलावा आप सब अपनी अपनी बात रखें। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू रवि जी, थैंक यू।
It's about charity, no? He said.
Charity, yes. Charity or generosity, udarta, generosity or charity. So, yeah. I think I talked about one incident, right? I think there was someone who was eating his lunch and someone came to him asking for maybe something, give me something. So whatever he was having, he gave that of the food to him. And then the other day, he was counting money. So that person came again and said, would you like to give me something? So he gave him some money. And after, for a long time, that guy did not come because that money made him sustain for a longer time. And then once he was neither eating, not counting money, and he told him some wise words of wisdom or something, and which made me get in touch, made him get in touch with his divine strength, or that he's capable enough and he can feed himself and take care of himself. And after that, that guy never came to him again. So I think maybe I read it from one of the stories by the mother or wherever, that so one dan is this annadan. The other dan is when we give of earth, this money and all that, um, which survives them for a longer maybe duration of time. But then they are still dependent on you. They are not fully independent. And later on, the last thing that he gave, that was the subtlest possible dan or charity that can be said, that he gave, and after that he just completely became independent on himself. Yeah, so that reminded me of that story, this what Raviji shared. Yeah.
about this charity. I heard in one of Alok Das talks actually. You must, that both Sri Aurobindo, when he was secretary to that Baroda king, no?
Mhm.
Both of them walking on the pavement. Actually, one old lady, she was lifting up the woods from below, and the king went to help her actually. Yeah, naturally, he helped her to lift up the wood and keep it on her back actually. He expected some prize, some words of praise from Sri Aurobindo, but he didn't say anything. He kept quiet. Then he asked, "Why you are not? It is not enough. Then you are also talking like other people." No, it is not the way to help a lady like this. You should go to the reason, root. Actually, what is the reason this old lady is still working like this?
Mm.
So you find out and relieve her from that difficulty.
Wow. Wow.
Then that king actually he went to that lady and talked to her and made her not to do these works type of works at that age.
Mm.
That is the real help. It is not enough if you do it temporarily and give relief to her. Yeah, that is shared in those.
It's very interesting. Whenever these acts of generosity or kindness happen, in that moment of connection with the other person, thought is absent, ego is absent. But the moment the whole happening is over, the ego jumps up again and said, "I did that." It kind of takes the whole credit to itself while it was not even there in that moment. And that's why we begin to then expect, yeah, that someone should praise me or
Yeah.
all that game.
There is a very minute thing also, inner thing also, it is there. The person who is receiving the help from you, it is every way they will turn against you actually. It is there. That psychology is there actually. Because that will make them feel that feeling is there, no? That low feeling.
Ah,
That is why that ingratitude, I mean, it all came in between. So that is why the feelings are hurt.
yeah, yeah.
We are expecting from our side, from that side they don't want to give that gratitude because
Mm,
they feel low. I read in one of the books, the mother's book only, I read about
yes,
this psychology actually.
yes.
Yeah. Because we used to with maid servants and all, we used to feel like that, no? And sometimes how, then I understood, oh, this is the feeling they had, that's why they are not, I mean, able to
Yeah,
show that gratitude. We are
true.
also expecting, so they
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
And also to receive help from somewhere is also, I don't know why is it considered so lowly, because so the person who is giving help is
Hmm.
considered the maybe the
Yeah,
superior one,
that
and
is why.
the person who is receiving help, while I think it should be the other way, because the person who is ready to receive help is actually making you feel better, good,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
you're able to give
correct.
yourself to someone, that
Yeah,
you have this opportunity to give yourself to someone. But
yeah, it was there in ancient India actually.
hmm,
Whoever is receiving help from you, they are divine. they are
yeah,
they are giving you the opportunity to give
yeah,
actually.
exactly,
So
exactly.
you should think like that and give all the charities actually.
Mhm.
That is the, in ancient India, that culture was there actually.
Yeah.
Correct.
There was also this, I think it was Rahim Dasji or somebody, some mystic saint, that whenever he used to give anything to someone, he would not like turn his eyes upwards, because he would say that I am not giving, you are giving. I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
not in between.
correct. Even in Synthesis of Yoga also, I read that actually. I'll try to find it out. saw, but I couldn't find now. And about this also, this is very beautiful. I'll read actually. Sweet mother, does something aspire even in the most nasty people? In the most nasty people, yes, my child, even in the asuras, even in the adversaries, even in the monsters, there is something. There is always a corner, a kind of rift, a sensitive point, which is usually called a weakness. But this actually is the strength of the being, the point by which it can be touched. Yeah, we heard about it, no? The even Ravana has some big point. I mean, if you touch that, yeah, for even the most obscure and misled beings, even in those whose conscious will is to fight against the divine, in spite of themselves, in spite of everything, their origin is divine. And they work in vain, try in vain to cut themselves off from their origin. They cannot do it deliberately, consciously. They try all they can, but they know very well they cannot do it. Even the most monstrous being, there is always a means to touch. The divine's action in the world always acts as a limit to the excess of evil and at the same time gives an unlimited power to the good. And it is this unlimited power of the good which externally in the manifestation serves as a limit to the spreading of evil. So, naturally, to the very limited vision of human beings, it seems sometimes that evil has no limits and that goes to its extreme. But this extreme itself is a limit. There is always a halt because there is a point where the divine rises up and says, you won't go any further. Whether it be the great destruction of nature or men's monstrosities, there is always a moment when the divine intervenes and prevents things from going further.
This reminded me of that incident when I think it's Shishupal or what in Mahabharata. He's saying some curses,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's, now you cannot do it.
Yeah, yeah, you cannot
Who's
do
that? Is
Krishna.
it Shishupal?
Shishupal, he only cursed Krishna actually.
Yeah, yeah. And 100 once.
100.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100. Yeah. Then all those times Krishna was laughing, laughing, laughing. Then he stopped that actually. Stopped that and did that because he is waiting for that. For
yeah.
that 100th one. Then he put his chakra. Yeah. And also you said in one of the session, I think actually even the evil, most evil person has that thing, no? That,
Yeah.
yeah, you told me actually. I remember.
I think that's why otherwise it would just become impossible to work with, for
Mm.
example, terrorists or criminals,
Yeah,
people
correct.
who maybe murderers or whatever. Otherwise, there is no redemption for them if this light is absent completely, which is not the case. And that's why these rehabilitation
Mm.
camps then
Yeah,
work, because they also have goodness, and then one strives the goodness out,
yeah.
and slowly all those weaknesses are kind of taken off.
Even in ordinary, I mean, in this life also, I used to see people. Actually, if one get, I mean, if he's an angry person, if he or she is an angry person also, at only we have to wait for some time, no? To find out their, I mean, it is not a weakness. Find out their soft
Softness.
corner.
Yeah.
It is not, yeah. For to kindle that only we can act actually. We should
Yeah.
not act otherwise.
Exactly. I was talking to a friend today, and she was talking about, for example, if a person lives around you and he's very depressed and sad and unhappy and all that. So whenever she was saying that whenever I interact with that person, it's as if I'm trying to fix his unhappiness or sadness, and I'm not able to do that. So I feel helpless. And he also suffers, the other person is also suffering. So I asked her to experiment that whenever now you interact with that person, forget that he's unhappy, sad, or anything. Do not act as if you are talking to that unhappy person or the sad person. Just imagine that he's completely fine, and now how would you talk to him? And slowly, you would not be patrolling or fueling that thing in him which is unhappy, sad, or
Correct. Yeah.
so. Yeah.
All evils are like that, really.
And mother says that in spiritual realms, especially,
Mm.
not ever take things on the face value. So, if I am working with someone who is maybe committed a crime, if we just focus on the crime, then there is no redemption for that poor person. And I personally feel, that I have committed so many crimes, and I see no difference that if a criminal, if I can do it, so criminal is also a human being. He can also do it. So, if I have a redemption, I can be redeemed. Why can't he be redeemed? He also has that divine potential within him. And if we just focus on the surface consciousness, then all the evil just stays as evil.
Yeah.
There's no
That is
chance.
why, yeah, you are correct. Actually, that is, I heard, I read, I think, from one of Alok Das talks in Savitri Bhavan. He said actually always you have to sympathize those persons who are getting lot of angry or, yeah, I mean, doing evil acts actually, because that poison is coming out from them. So it is a poison. They are having holding it
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, we have to sympathize them only, not, I mean, um, taking vengeance or same type of grudge. It is
Yes.
not, yeah, it won't do any good thing actually.
Mm.
Yeah, that is also one of the very good attitude, no? Sympathize with the persons who are
Reminds
doing.
me of this image of the Shiva, he has poison
Yeah,
in his throat. So
correct.
it's not poisoning his being. He has taken it from outside, yes, but he's not taken it inside and let it poison the whole being. So it's just here.
Everything is there in mothers and Sri Aurobindo's. Totally, not even a little thing they left, no?
I think one thing which also helps along with these conversations that one shares, the question and answers of the sadhaks,
Yeah, correct.
they are very these intimate conversations that mother, I am dealing with this and what to do, and mother would say it's very simple thing, and
Mm.
it's done. For example, this little booklet by Huta, where
Mm.
conversations of Huta with the mother, Huta Didi with the mother. So it is almost as if the same thing is repeated again and again. She's falling into a trap or of hostile forces again and again. And mother has been so patient. She's just answering again and again and again and again, in every time in a different way. And she
Correct.
says that I never go away. You run away from my pallu. You
Yeah.
stay with me. I'm forever here.
Sri Aurobindo also answered lot of questions.
Yes, yes.
Lot of things. Especially with Nirodharan, as you said. Lot of questions. Nirodharan used to raise questions like common. I mean, for us, I used to think like that. Maybe for the sake of us, he used to raise such questions. Sri Aurobindo also answered. Yeah. Because of all the doubts we used to get after so many years also.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Tara Jauhar, she also used to ask a lot of questions, no?
Oh,
Yeah, Tara Jauhar, no? She, because mother, she used to sit near her, near mother chair. So every time, if nobody and I mean ask any question, mother used to turn to her and ask her any question, any question. So she used to develop, because at one stage mother wanted to, I mean, finish all this conversation because there is no questions. So
mm.
she said she wanted to stop all these conversations. Tara Johar felt very bad, it seems.
Oh,
Then she started writing the questions in the notebook, and she used to ask her father once, Surendranath Jauhar, no? Oh, you only ask so many questions. To that level, you are, I mean, you are unintelligent. It seems. Yeah.
but it's such a big help for people who are reading
Yeah.
exams.
Then she told, it says, no, mother wants so many questions. That's why I take up the initiative.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. Her first time when I read her book, no, Growing Up with the Mother, Tara Jawhar's book.
Oh,
Yeah.
growing up with the mother.
Growing Up with the Mother.
So
Yeah.
Saradi was in Pondicherry with the mother.
Yeah, fully.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After only then she started that.
Yes, Delhi Ashram.
Yeah. And that is also a wonder. She was a very naughty child, it seems.
Mm.
Revolutionary. She won't attend the classes also.
Mm.
Mother allowed her, and she grew in that way only.
Mm. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was her nature, and mother
Nature, yeah.
according to the nature of
Yeah.
the child.
The
Yeah.
nature she allowed her, but she had other talents. She used to take lot of photographs. Because of her, only lot of rare photographs we are now getting of mother.
Acha, acha.
Yeah. Tara Jauhar only is the reason for that. And
Mm.
also the flowers and significance, the whole book.
Mm.
Because of her only, it was, I mean,
Wow.
yeah. She's the one, and she was the young captain also, no? Tara Johar. Captain, on the playground, they used to conduct all the activities, no? March past
Okay.
and all.
Okay.
Only the students are become captains, actually.
Right. Right.
Youngest to the oldest. So Tara Johar is one of the captain. Beautiful. Hudadi, she is completely different. Tara Johar is the energetic and very
Yes. Yes.
positive. Yeah.
I had an opportunity to meet her once.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Once when I had come from Zurich, I was just traveling around to a lot of places. So I went to the Delhi ashram,
Okay.
and she was in the office, and I liked her voice a lot. She has a
Yeah.
very interesting voice. So we chatted for some time. I don't exactly remember what we chatted about, but then she showed me around the
Yeah.
campus. Yeah, that vital energy, you see that in her,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
enthusiasm one sees.
Yeah. Enthusiasm. She used to tell, I don't know anything about all the other traditions. I mean, not. I know only about her. Don't ask me any personal questions. She used to tell like that. No, always in the interviews I used to watch her, actually.
Ah.
There are so many interviews are there actually with Tara
Mm,
Johar.
mm, beautiful.
These things came usually came to my picture always. We heard about lot of rishis. I mean, there are so many, but we didn't see them. But whenever I used to hear about any sadhak or like Nolinikant Gupta, Mirdar, I mean Nirod Baran, Tara Jauhar, Huda, I used to think they are all rishis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whenever I read, I feel like that.
Mm, and on this, I would just share ये जो आपने अभी अभी बताया ना, so that paragraph that I was reading, in that only, it was a long paragraph, so I only read half. Exactly what you are referring to. That is sharing that sometimes when one sees a generous act, hears of something exceptional, when one witnesses heroism or generosity or greatness of soul, meets someone who shows a special talent, or acts in a beautiful, exceptional way, then there is a kind of enthusiasm or admiration towards that person or the whole situation, or gratitude which suddenly awakens in the being and opens the door to a new state of consciousness, a light, a warmth, a joy one did not know before. That too is a way of catching the guiding thread. So, so when we get inspired by these words and and kind of learn from each other's experiences, it's all connecting to that guiding thread.
That day also, when you read Savitri lines, no, those lines, Sri Aurobindo's, this picture came to me actually. The in our tradition, we used to chant a lot on Devi's kirtis and everything towards a desire, for the fulfillment of a desire actually. Through that we will slowly move towards that real bhakti, or maybe that real thing inside. But the only those desires will be fulfilled, I mean, for studies or for wealth or for something else like that. When you read those lines about Sri Aurobindo's I mean consciousness, no, that Savitri lines yesterday, I felt actually so all this, I mean, years we have come up like that actually. Now, for the inner thing, to realize the inner thing, Sri Aurobindo's consciousness is coming to us. I mean, we can feel that consciousness. So these are the, I mean, the real thing we are moving towards that. I mean, for
Yes.
us, no, we are step by step. That is a long, dim preparation for us.
Exactly. Yes. It's it's very interesting that one may look at desires in a very negative way, but if one sees the larger picture, it has so much of importance in the this preparatory stages that desire
Really.
moves from the tamas, from the inertia. One gets this, that I must get this, I must get this, and then obviously the
For everything, a prayer. For a
Yeah.
wealth, prayer. For studies, a prayer.
Mm,
And for getting a house, a prayer. Everything
interesting.
like that, it developed. And at one stage, the question will arise. What is this we are praying for all these things? What is the inner meaning? Because even in Lalita Sahasranamam and Devi's Kirtis, no, there are so many verses which indicate the higher things actually.
Yeah.
So then that question will arise. What is this? What is, I mean, what really this meaning is actually?
Mm.
In the end, they will, I mean, make us to think like that actually.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
so Sri Aurobindo is direct. Sri
Yeah.
Aurobindo and Mother is directly to inner path, no?
Mm.
It's really beautiful because one, we know all this journey, all this long dim preparation, it is now taking us further.
That's what we were discussing also in few sessions, that there is no goal. This just path is the goal, and it's
Path.
beautiful. Just be on the path. So now, when one sees that yes, I am on the path of surrender, who would be wanting any benefits from the surrender? Because being on the path is the biggest benefit. So then that desire would just vanish away.
Yeah.
And if the desire of reaping the benefits of surrender is still there, then it means I am not even on the path.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I think, we can close here also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then thank you, Chitraji. Thank you, Tarun. Bye bye.